Hello, my name is Greggory Ohannessian, and I'm an autistic person who is a member of Public Allies Arizona. When you meet me, I'm upfront about my disability. Know me better, and I'll tell you about my wants, dreams, goals, and interests, such as movies. One movie I enjoy watching is City Slickers, a comedy that has a scene where two characters discuss finding your one thing in life. As life moves pretty fast, to quote Ferris Bueller, I continue to look for my one thing, but I was unsure what to do after spending 8.5 years at Arizona State University until my mom urged me to get a job. After trying and failing to find work, my former college instructor suggested looking at career services, who informed me about a job fair in Tempe that led me to Public Allies. My mom also suggested I find work at Ridgeline Academy since I spoke there prior. Ridgeline is a K-8 charter school with a mission to foster critical thinking, promote academic excellence, and instill a culture of lifelong learning among students. When I mentioned Public Allies to the school's principal, Kevin Barker, I was facing a dilemma because he wanted me to work for him. He told me Ridgeline was a 501c3 nonprofit, meaning I could work there while also being in Public Allies. After completing the application and interviews, I was accepted and placed at Ridgeline Academy as an intervention research specialist. I said, "Kevin, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful apprenticeship." If anyone asked me about my most meaningful experience, the first thing that comes to mind is the core training and retreat. One week, I learned the ins and outs of the program and nonprofit work. The next, I'm at a retreat in Tucson with other allies who I just met, and we connect with each other through team building activities and sharing our stories on day one. Day two is where I hung on for dear life as I navigated a ropes course that felt satisfying to complete as I zip-lined to the ground, smiling ear to ear. It gave me great confidence going into my first day of work. However, I had a feeling this experience foreshadowed the unexpected events to come. If I learned anything about myself this year, it's that I'll always face one more obstacle or setback to sidetrack me from reaching my goals. Managing my time working from home during school breaks has been difficult as I tried balancing family time with work time. Unexpected setbacks also occurred, such as COVID-19 and losing a cousin from California. The latter hit me hardest because he was a year older than me, and his unexpected death caused me to reevaluate my own life and what I needed to do to make an impact with the time I have left. These and other setbacks have motivated me to work harder. While at Ridgeline, I analyzed their current intervention program to determine what was working and not working to make sure it was fully inclusive. I examined test scores, survey data, and other program indicators. I also researched 10 schools that modeled full inclusion and found strategies like co-teaching and training for our educational partners who work one-on-one with the students. As a result of my research, I developed materials for the staff and made it sustainable by pre-recording a presentation using Google Slides and Zoom video conferencing. While in the process of developing and delivering a whole staff training, my supervisor reminded me I was on track for completing my service objectives. Outside my placement, I collaborated with 3 members of my cohort for a team service project on post-high school options, which was presented to members of the Boys and Girls Club of the Valley. Due to COVID-19, we made adjustments and shared our presentation using Zoom. We also made pamphlets. During service days, I cleaned up a school in downtown Phoenix, volunteered at a festival to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and served lunches at Ridgeline to make up hours for service days canceled due to COVID-19. I also participated in many training opportunities, such as community space days and online webinars. During one of the community space days, I engaged others in an ally-led presentation on disability advocacy and shared my own lived experience, making me a walking change agent. As the allies learned about my background and values, I was willing to learn about theirs as well. During the gift seat at the mid-year retreat, one of the allies reminded me to broaden my advocacy beyond disability, which is true since disability intersects with other minority groups such as race and gender. The disability rights movement of the 1970s was actually influenced by the civil rights movements that began 2 decades earlier. I had the opportunity to absorb this movement's roots while attending a trip to Georgia and Alabama with Ridgeline students, staff, and family. As I visited many historical locations, the most important were the Enslavement and Civil Rights Museum in Selma and the National Center for Civil and Human Rights in Atlanta. The former was a real eye-opener as I was part of a reenactment where I was an African American slave and experienced their suffering. The latter was my favorite location because it had an exhibit where I gained a deeper understanding of human rights and how it affects the lives of every person. As Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird once said, "You never really understand a person until you consider things from their point of view, until you climb into their skin and walk around in it." This trip demonstrated the importance of the work I have done at my placement and with Public Allies because it helped me understand how important diversity and inclusion is in our society. Looking back, I realized it was not just one moment that changed my life. My experience in working towards just and equitable society comes from all these moments that have shaped me into a leader who embraces diversity and inclusion to the fullest. I learned new skills like project management and refreshed others such as organization and communication. I learned to be more vulnerable and trust others so that I could do more at my placement and Public Allies. This led me to experience new things like riding the Valley Metro bus and light rail. Looking forward, heading into the unknown, frozen pun intended, I thought, my first year was challenging. Would I do it all again? The time spent as a public ally has been the most challenging, life-changing, and satisfying moments of my life. I will continue exploring my identity as a leader while also building upon my skills and gaining practical experience as I apply for a second year of Public Allies, Arizona. This commitment will require me to do more tasks such as facilitating group activities and mentoring other allies. I also plan on returning to Ridgeline as they are in the process of expanding into a K-12 public charter school. My hope for the second year is to put more effort into the +1 leadership action, practicing self-care, so I learn to take care of myself. As I'm still looking for my one thing, I know that the love and support I have for others motivates me to advocate for them. But I must also learn to love and support myself. When I think of love, I remember the Bible verse in the Armenian church at my cousin's funeral that says, "Love one another," from the book of John, chapter 13, verse 34. I also think of the verse, "Love your neighbor as yourself," from Mark chapter 12, verse 31, which Dr. King believed in, who also said, "Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." In closing, we must continue to love and support each other and ourselves, and have hope to keep us motivated in reaching our goals. Hope and love motivates me to advocate for others and myself. With that said, much thanks needs to be given. First, I thank God for blessing me with this opportunity. Second, I thank my family for their support in keeping me on track. Third, I want to thank my partner organization, Ridgeline Academy, and the staff for being accommodating and inclusive. Shoutouts go to my supervisor, Kevin Barker, the special education and intervention team, the educational partners, teachers, and the front office staff. Finally, I want to thank everyone in Public Allies for your support and understanding. Shoutouts to Fernanda Maqueda for introducing me to Public Allies, my program manager, Jake Teskey, and the rest of the staff. A shout out to my TSP group, Anna, Ecclesia, and Jordan, and to everyone else, including the allies who left early. I am so grateful that we supported each other and hope to do so after Public Allies. One more thing. I dedicate this presentation to my late cousin Kevork, whose death reminded me how important life is, and to spend time with the people who love and support me. Fly high, Ajamian. Thank you.